I'm starting over at 39. Could this pivot cost me everything? This question has been on my mind since May when I took the administrative leave from my six-figure federal job to launch my own business. I'm actually doing the business since 2020. I got started during the pandemic. But since this is a big topic that might expand on many scenes in my life, let me take you back. A good place to start is when I arrived to America in 2008. I was young, 22, ambitious, and it was all I dreamed about. America. I landed in New York, New York, New York. I've heard so many great songs. I've seen so many great images from New York. It was my dream city. I couldn't even think of a better place to land in America, even though my plane was to land in Washington, D.C. But that day, I didn't catch the flight to D.C. because of the immigration. I had to do some paperwork and didn't account for that because the first place you land in America, you got to go through the immigration. So I missed my plane. And that was the first event that happened to me in America where I had to rely on myself. My mom was already here. She bought my ticket. She had a place for me to sleep. But life happens, right? She lost her phone that night when she was waiting for me. She accidentally dropped it in water. So I memorized her number because she kept that number for a long time. So in Cameroon, I just used to call on that number. I tried to call again and again and again, nothing. I couldn't reach her. Everything went well with the immigration. It wasn't a long process, actually. In less than 2 hours, my paperwork was fine, so I was good to go. It's just that when you land in New York, it's so busy. Even for landing, we spent almost an hour in the air. The plane was just going around and around and around before we could land. But it was a beautiful view. And every time we were going around, I could see cabs, yellow, 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 in parking lots all around the cities. I could see bridges. I could see buildings. It was so beautiful. I could have stayed in the air for hours. It was like something I've never seen. A young African dream to come to America, the land of opportunity. And I wasn't deceived. America is everything I've dreamed of. And I'm so thankful to live here. Even though some people in America think happiness is somewhere else, I don't blame them. I can understand why. But we can explain that later. After I got out of immigration, I got my suitcase. I didn't know any word in English. I had $7 in my pocket. All the money I could exchange before taking my flight because my flight was late. And we don't think about all that. We don't think about money exchange before traveling. But that money helped me get a cart to put my baggages in. And then I didn't know what to do. I knew my flight was gone and I already lost that part. So I went back to Royal Air Morocco Airline, and told them about the situation. They were cool. They just say, okay, they can pay me one night at a hotel until I got this figured out, which worked for me because I couldn't reach my mom anyways. So they paid my room in the Holiday Inn. I got in a shuttle. It was free. So many good things in America. Got to my hotel. They put me like one of the top floor. I was amazed when I got in. I could just look by the window and see planes taking off, landing. The lights, like New York was bright. Nothing like that in Cameroon. Nothing. I just stared at for a good 5-10 minutes. I was amazed. When I was traveling, there was a couple Africans that was in the plane with me. So we got the same problem. We lost the same connection. I think one guy was from Sierra Leone. I don't remember his face. I don't remember his name. I just know that night he said, oh yeah, let's go party. I was like, I'm so happy right now. I don't think a party could make me higher. I was good. I took a good bath, lay on my bed, live my dream. Like, this is the dream. Enough about that. In the morning, my hotel room came with breakfast, right? I went downstairs. Oh my God, the menu, everything. I got so much food, man. I got eggs, I got potatoes. And when I sat down, the waitress was so nice. My English was bad. I couldn't even understand any words they were talking because Americans talk so fast. She got orange juice, was asking me what I want to drink. I couldn't understand a little bit what she meant. I was like, orange juice. She poured it. Man, I tasted it. It tasted so good, man. I had some. And then I put my glass down. She went around and came back and poured back orange juice again. I was like, I ain't got no money to pay this food, man. I don't know what she do. Hey, I kind of trying to stop her. She's like, no, it's fine. It's included. Okay. I had a good breakfast. That buffet was nice. After that, I went to my shuttle, went back to the airport to see if I can get tickets to DC from Morocco Airline. When I trying to get there, I saw it was like an Uber driver, those private big cars. He was from Ivory Coast. He spoke French. She was like, "Oh, where you going?" I'm like, "I'm trying to go get my ticket from Morocco Airline." He's like, "No, it's not it's not how it works. They're not gonna give it back to you because you missed your flight. But I can help you." I'm like, "Okay." So he took me around, trying to figure out if we can call my mom so she can pay him for him to drop me off. That car was so big. I was like, ain't no way I can afford this. Finally reached my mom because the first thing in the morning she went ahead and fixed her phone. After that, we talked to her. She was like, okay, she can pay like $100. The guy was like, that ain't gonna cut it. I cannot drive from New York to DC for that amount. He was like, it's better if she get me the Greyhound and he will find a friend, a taxi driver to drop me off. Which he did. He was very nice. We gave like $90 to the taxi driver. So the cab driver was really nice. When I got into the cab, we were driving inside New York. I could see the people. Like I started from the air. Now it was like, oh, this how the street looks like. It looked nice. Everybody was happy. Man, it was all I dreamed about. Then we got to the Greyhound. We got somebody to help me carry the bag. I gave him like $5 from the money the Western Union my mom gave me. Then I got into the Greyhound. Before there was some sandwiches. I got something to eat. So I was going to DC. The Greyhound was nice too. That was one of the best ride I ever had at that point. But before you get to DC, you stop in like New Carrollton, then Silver Spring to when the bus stopped at New Carrollton. I was sleeping, but I woke up right before we stopped. And I saw my mom, and I told the bus driver, I'm getting off here. I'm getting off here. I said, I thought you told me DC. I'm like, no, I'm good. I saw her. He was like, okay. So he cut down. I got it was a little annoyed because when you go further to put your bags, get it back. He helped me get the bags off. I met my mom. Then my life started. Landover, Maryland. I went to PG Community College. It was a smooth transition. I got accepted for the engineering program. Then I was life in America. I got my first job at Pizza Hut, making the first money. I was so excited with that first paycheck. Soon I realized that's not the life I want. That job was hard. I started having a bunch of hard jobs in America. I'm like, I gotta graduate. Then I transferred to Montgomery College. From Montgomery College, I went to UMBC. By 2014, 6 years later, I graduated my Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. I was so excited. To do that, I had to take winter classes, summer classes. Not winter classes all the time, but I think one time I took a winter class in 2013 when I realized if I took statistics, I could graduate by May instead of longing. I took it and I got an A. Nice experience. After that, it wasn't easy to get a job. I mean, I had a resume, I did some mock interview, but you know how when you go to school, you don't really pay attention? That's what happened to me. And one of the jobs I was guaranteed to get after college, I didn't get it. There was some complication last minute, but that's another story. That's why I kept getting those odd jobs with a bachelor degree. I worked at a Marriott. I worked at, and then I had to transfer to Texas. I went to Houston and worked for a HVAC company there. I didn't like it at all. It was actually HVAC manufacturing. If I want to do HVAC, I'm more interested in design because I took one HVAC class. And then I learned how to do resume properly, how to mock interview, what kind of questions you expect after couple interviews, after like thousands of job applications, I've cracked the code. And I went to Nesby in California in 2015. I didn't get a job. Then I came back to Washington, D.C. just for the Bay Area conference. And I got 3 offers that day, 16, early 2016, maybe February. So I moved from Texas back to Maryland because that's where my mom lives until I started my job in April because the government started by wave. It was amazing, the American dream. And I started making some real money. I was so excited. And in the back of my mind, I always knew that the job would be a great way to teach me some skills that I was lacking. I always knew that I'm not going to have like a long, long career, like 20, 30, 40 years. But I knew that I could do 10 years for sure. So the first couple of years, I excelled on my job. It was very entertaining. I had a great supervisor, one of my best supervisors, if not the best. Then he retired, and then my branch started not having his role filled for a couple of years. Then COVID hit. Today was just too much. You got to stay home, and then you got to come back to the office. Little by little, I started not being excited about the job anymore. And that's how I saw the opportunity the president gave us to take the GRP and be on admin leave for 6 months and separate from the government, basically voluntary resignation. But since I already started the business in 2020, I was like, this is a good opportunity for me to go full time in. The business is not giving me what my job is giving, but in the back of my mind, I was like, this is going to give me 6 months of freedom to really work on what I want to work on, not to have to go out work for 9 hours a day and then be distracted from my work, from my business. And a lot of things directed my decision, right? Like this concept I'm talking about of starting over. I keep starting over in my life, and I think it's the best way to reinvent yourself, not being afraid to start over. Good position, but that opportunity is something that was greater than the great position because if I didn't take it, I would have regretted it being paid for 6 months to work on my passion. There's that principle, right? And also the principle that a lot of people don't like to start over because it's scary. It was scary the day that I went ahead and signed up for the DRP was one of the scariest day in my life because I'm like, I'm giving up this good job to do something that I don't know the outcome. But it's the only way for me to figure it out, right? I know a lot of people will disagree. So that's why I didn't share that with my friends and family at first. I only shared with my wife, which she didn't agree to. Funny thing is, she started working at the university down the base, like down the road where there's a lot of engineers. The other day, she had this meeting where engineers would come and tell the younger generation about engineering and trying to attract them to do more STEM courses. She said that day when she was listening to all of them and all the questions they were asking, she wondered if I'm really like, I was really feeling myself when I was doing my job because I never talk like that. I always talk about business. I talk about ideas. I'm a visionary. I don't really get into wind tunnels, design, or talking about aircraft, landing gear, or talking about helmets. Like, I don't talk about those technical stuff. And that's how I told her, yeah, now you understand my decision. Now, sometimes you can trap yourself because even though you can do anything, you might be doing something that's not designed for you, which I always understood. And even when advising younger people that I talk to, I always tell them when you start going to school, you want to do something that's going to bring you enough money to live by, like something like engineering, STEM. I'm a big encourager of more and more Black people doing STEM and engineering, even though they're passionate about something else. For me, it's a good start. It's a good foundation. And that's what I always wanted for myself. But I think after a while, it was time for me to move and go do something bigger. So I have a couple things that I'm doing. I sell on Amazon, pursue government contracts, and I also interested in building an AI automation company. Right now, I have done Amazon for the past 5 years, so that's where I'm stronger. I haven't won a contract yet, but I've submitted many, and every time I don't win, I always request a debrief, which is very important, and they tell me what I did wrong, where I can improve. So I feel confident that I can win one contract. So that's what I'm doing right now in the process of reinventing myself. I also do the YouTube thing to document my progress because I always regret not documenting my progress when I started Amazon because at some point I forgot what and how difficult it was. I started taking it for granted when every month I was getting money. And then when I started having employees, it wasn't the easiest thing to explain to them how to navigate because my whole thing was if I had done it for myself, if we two or three together, we can easily do it, but it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you got to learn new skills. I mean, actually, the skills that my job taught me, like delegation, leadership, communication, we took a lot of those courses. Now I can apply it because having a team, you cannot just tell people. In the beginning, I was just talking. I was having, hey, let's have a Zoom meeting and talk. Okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And then a month later, nothing had advanced. And you can go that rabbit hole for years. There's a lot of company that suffer because the leader doesn't understand where the problem is. And the interesting thing is, you're like, okay, we had a meeting. How come you don't understand what needs to get done? But I've learned so much. I know there are A players, B players, C players. A players cost more, but it's not easy. They're not easy to find. Even if you find them and you don't delegate properly, you don't know if you have an A player or not. So sometimes the problem is you. So I learned how to have a list because it's not just going to ChatGPT and be like, okay, summarize this meeting, send it to my team, and they will understand what to do. So as a leader, taking a step-by-step list of what will need to be achieved to move forward is very critical because sometimes a lot of people don't understand the whole map, what you're trying to achieve. Mostly if they've never done it. If somebody has never launched a successful product, they don't understand everything it takes. Because sometimes at the last minute, there's some complications. If you're think and courage, he said, whether you think you can or whether you think you cannot, you're both right. Because sometimes people give up at the last minute when they should move forward. And it's hard. It's a hard call because sometimes it's right to give up, but sometimes it's not. And it's not easy to know when. If you give up, you're right. If you don't give up, you're right. So sometimes you got to push forward. Vision of the leader can take people to the next step. And then once they see it, then they can do it tomorrow easily. They don't have to call you. So that's one thing you got to learn. But overall, I still believe in this principle of reinventing yourself because the story I gave you earlier about America is how I reinvented myself. Coming here, the one big part I missed is I was speaking French. I know I say at a restaurant when the waitress talked to me, I couldn't understand them. It's because for the first 22 years of my life, all I spoke was French. All my friends and family spoke French. I learned a little bit of English at school, but that's it. 1 hour, twice a week. You don't even speak, right? It's just like the professor go up there, start talking, somebody don't understand what she's talking about, and then she gets some work that you never do. I never knew that I would come to America. It was a dream so far away that I didn't really prepare. But once I knew, maybe 1 year before I traveled, I started taking some English lessons as an adult, which is not the same. People who start speaking English very young, even the accent is not as thick. I mean, people say my accent is not as thick, but I started late. I had to do a lot of effort. I had to be conscious. Sometimes I even have that discussion with my wife, like the way I've put myself and learn English is not the way I would expect everybody else to do it. only few people like myself will do it because sometimes it's not necessary. You can come in America. Yes, when you go to work, you will speak English, but you can spend the rest of your days in life speaking French because there's a big community here. So if you are in that community, you don't have to speak English. So I have to make you understand that sometimes when we hang out, don't expect those people to be as clear. May not make your vocabulary complicated because treat them and speak with the vocabulary of a second grader. And that takes me to something I just learned because I just started following Myron Golden, and he is very, very, like he makes sure that you understand the difference between thinking like Einstein, the speaking, like you're speaking to a third grader. Like he made me realize plus and one plus equals two because even I wish I knew that when I started my career because as an engineer, I thought we were always expected to solve big problems. So that means sometimes I felt like if you come and speak or do a presentation, you have to use those big technical terms all the time to show that you're a subject matter expert. But by the end of my career in the government, I realized the subject matter expert is somebody who can understand those complex ideas and communicate like he communicating to third grader because all them all of them program managers, higher leadership, they have so much things on their plate that they want you to just let them know where are the challenges and where you need help in a simple language. They don't want to understand how the engineering problem with all the terms is going on. Like, I mean, it's nice, but make sure that your message is centered on the most on the things that you can connect with other people. So Marion really, really helped me understand that. I mean, that was after I resigned. And sometimes I think a lot of things happened to me after I resigned. And that's interesting too, right? Like you will think it's the opposite. You will think, oh, if I resign, I'm losing. But I mean, I'm not lying. Maybe I'm not making the money I was expecting to make yet, but the opportunities that I've discovered after resigning are just huge. Like I would have never find out about those things because when you go to work, you're so focused. Like, oh yeah, what am I going to show my boss this week? What am I going to show this customer this week? What presentation? You are in that circle and you never have time to think. So I've realized that now I can think. I can strategize. I can mind map. I discover Notebook LM. I discovered how to make my presentations better, how to make my videos better, how to speak better, how a new world just opened, how AI works. I bought a new mini Mac to like test my own LLM locally because I heard that everything you put in ChatGPT is exposed. So you gotta be careful not putting company proprietary things inside those large language models. Understood the difference between small language model, language model, how to integrate everything. Honestly, the only time I regretted or I was scared of my decision is when I signed the GRP. But since the day I signed, all the fears disappeared. I started seeing clearly. I started attracting opportunities. I started thinking, hey, my friend is working government contract. Why don't I invite him in my show so we can have a conversation? And now that show he shared that with his network, and it's one of the most watched show on my channel. And every day people are watching it more. I started thinking, like I started having ideas, and it's amazing just because I decided to reinvent myself and move forward. So if you're afraid of taking the leap, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, if anything else, you can go get another job. I don't know why people are so afraid, right? You feel like, in my opinion, your life is not moving the way you want if you're not going to be able to give your family the freedom to do the things they want. Why don't you try something else? So I decided to pivot at this age in my life again, like I did when I was 22. Like I did many, many times. There's so many stories where I pivoted in my life, even in relationships before I got married, even with friendships, even with my health, workouts, that I think every time I did it, something good happened. I don't believe in getting stuck. I don't believe in just living life in autopilot. I've seen so many people, hard worker, just look at their life pass them by. And it's every day. Uh, I'll be 40 next year. Sometimes I'm invited in parties of my mom's friend when they turn 50. I'm like, I'll be 50 soon in only a decade. And it makes me ask questions like, am I living the way I want to live? When I turn that age and look back, what would I say? That the decision I made today is the life I'm going to be living in the future? So is what I'm doing now reflecting that kind of life that I want? That's why setting goals is important. Honestly, the decision I'm making today are guided by the future me. That's another point. The reason why I'm pivoting is because I did not see how what I'm doing is going to make that future me look good. Because I could see people around me at work that were that age. I didn't really want I'm not being disrespectful. I admire them professionally and what they've accomplished. But I really didn't see how what my future will look like if it looks like them, make me happy, or will give my family what I want for my family, the freedom that I want. I didn't see it for all the sacrifice, all the hours you put in. In my mind, it was just like, is that it? Is that it? It's funny, like maybe I'm wrong. I mean, let me see, make me understand what I did, like what I didn't understand. I mean, I was honest. That's why I wanted to start with the story that starting out in America was the greatest thing that happened in my life. So you understand every steps along the way. The American dream, my first job, my first real money to come here and pivot and be like, I know there's something better. I know I have more to offer. That's the key. I just felt like where I was, what I was offering wasn't my full potential, wasn't my full capabilities. I have so many other. I just didn't want to be framed. That's the word. Like I was just afraid what I was being framed at work, how that would be my life if I just accept it. I cannot identify exactly how I was framed, but I didn't like that perception because the perception is reality. The perception is real. Like I would have just stay there because sometimes I might look like I'm an introvert, but sometimes I question myself: am I really? Because I do stuff. Even when I started my work, I'm like, I will go there at meetings sometimes, be quiet. But on Friday when I hang out with my friends, I'm not that quiet. I speak loud. I'm dominant. I go out. I party. I'm having fun. I watch games. I want to go out there, talk to people. But when I come to work, I'm just quiet all of a sudden. So I just don't want it to be framed like the quiet guy. I just come there and do his work because I am me. Even when I come to YouTube, that's not the framework where they put me in because I can do YouTube. I can speak my mind. I feel like I had all that in me that could die. All those brilliant ideas that I want to explore and do, the different facets of my personality. I just wanted to come out and shine and help somebody because I know that's one of the powers that I have and I want to use it. So I didn't want to be framed. That's what's one of the major point of my decision. And that's why I like business because even though some people wanted to frame me, in my business, I do all the stuff. I call, I solve customer problems promptly. I delegate, I lead my team, I manage, I have score mentors. So I don't want to be framed. And again, the question is this pivot going to cost me? I don't know. I don't think so. I believe only nice thing has happened since I made a decision. I believe the future is brighter. I believe it's going to profit me more than harms. Like I said, making the decision wasn't easy, but I'm past that decision. I've explored so many more opportunities. I went to Dallas for conferences. I look for workshop in my community. I've been learning so much more about marketing, business, different landing page, opt-in. I get up in the morning, come in my basement, work, make the calls, contact future partner on LinkedIn. And I believe if I keep doing that to a higher volume, I'll be able to make it. And I have a lot of support. My wife is there. She supports me. She helped me build the website in Shopify, helped me build the Amazon new products page. She's doing the best she can. And most importantly, she started to understand my decision and to support me. That's the best thing. I haven't shared to most of my friends and family, I didn't want to be bothered. But I think somebody got to make decisions in their life. Life is about decisions. I've made plenty of decisions in my life and I'm proud of. Some were bad, some were good. But I think it's a net positive and I'm still learning, growing, trying to make better decisions as a leader, as a father, as a husband, as a human being to better everybody around me. I just want to go out there looking for my dream, go for what's mine. Thousands of people. Give my family the freedom that we need. I think I'm that person in my family to finally give us that financial freedom so we can